13th of June 2022. We've just come back from the South Wales Police headquarters, where a victim of child sexual abuse was called to attend a VA, which is a volunteer attendee interview, regarding one of her posts about her abuser, which incidentally she reported. He was charged with 9 counts of rape. South Wales Police messed up the case and he ended up walking away. However, the victim was not able to walk away because of the trauma, unprocessed trauma, years of just having to live with what he'd done to her. Alexis J, on the 1st of February 2022, did actually document that South Wales Police have failed in their duty towards victims. So I witnessed firsthand that this has been the case today.
Hi. Hi everyone. I'm a victim of child sexual abuse from the age of 11, 12 years of age by my biological father. I tried throughout my life to process the abuse unsuccessfully over many years. I tried to put it to the back of my mind, but as most survivors know, it lives with you for an absolute lifetime. The trauma doesn't ever end. The nightmares don't ever end. The flashbacks don't ever end. It never, ever goes away from you. This person, my abuser, caused me horrendous trauma. I mean, if someone is able to do that to their only child, then what else are they capable of? I kind of struggled through my life. I attempted suicide twice. I tried to process the trauma that I was trying to deal with, like I said, unsuccessfully a number of times. And by the time I was in my 40s, I just wasn't coping. It wasn't successful. My coping strategies weren't successful at all. I then, in the beginning of 2019, lost my dear maternal grandmother, which devastated me. But on the other hand, I didn't have to protect anybody anymore. I didn't have to bring shame on anybody anymore. I didn't have to cover anything up anymore. My abuser threatened me that if I told anybody when I was a child, my mother would kill him and it would be all my fault and I'd have no one. That alone was horrifically traumatic as an 11, 12-year-old child. I didn't know how to cope with that. Still don't. Still have trouble processing that. I still have trouble reconciling how much harm that someone can cause. So in 2019, I reported my abuser to the police, and he was charged with 9 counts of rape. What followed has just been even more horrific than the abuse itself, if that is even possible. I gave evidence at Crown Court 3 times, which was just so traumatic, so triggering, just awful, re-traumatised me horrendously. Basically, because South Wales Police failed to follow procedures, because they failed to collect evidence, because they messed up the investigation of something massive, a child rapist and an abuser of women with many violent convictions was allowed to walk free. And now I have to deal with the trauma that he could potentially significantly harm another child and destroy their lives where he destroyed mine. I am re-traumatised by the criminal justice process. I'm re-traumatised by South Wales Police, and because I effectively did their job for them and tried to raise awareness of how dangerous my abuser is and how much of a risk to the public he is, they have targeted me for harassment of him. So basically, they are targeting a victim of horrific rape as a child, of you know, of harassment against her abuser. How can that possibly be ever right? How the hell can they ever justify that? I just don't get it. I asked them to put a sexual risk order on my abuser, which I've done my research, can be given on anybody who is cautioned, reprimanded, warned, or convicted of any sexual offence against anybody, whether historic or current. And they haven't done so. So they have failed so far. So, you know, in my opinion, South Wales Police are grossly negligent in their duties to safeguard the public, to safeguard me, and to safeguard my family against my abuser. But they targeted me in an attempt to silence me from exposing him and from raising awareness of how dangerous he is. Because I firmly and absolutely believe that if someone's capable of raping their only child, then they're capable of anything. That is evil. That is pure and absolute evil personified. And like I said, what else is he capable of? I'm terrified that he will harm another child. And I have to deal with that every single day of my life. The fact I'll wake up, switch the news on, and there'll be a rape victim, a child in his area. And if that happens, then on your heads be a South Wales Police, because they're ultimately responsible for that. They've done nothing to safeguard me as a victim of horrendous sexual crimes. They've done nothing to safeguard the public, and South Wales Police are protecting him. I want him to have a sexual risk order initially. You know, even in the interim, then I will protect the public. He is dangerous, because I was desperate for justice, so desperate for justice. Now all I have is fear. Now all I have is further anxiety, more anxiety, crippling anxiety, which ultimately have been caused by him and by South Wales Police.